good morning. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a mask in a closed space, it's because my husband normally drives this vehicle, and because he has an enormous commute with good traffic, he's looking at 2.5 to 3 hours, and he spends a lot of time in this vehicle every day. Oh, and that's one way, by the way. 2.5, 3 hours, one way. Yes, he is a federal employee, and he can't transfer. He was hired on as a remote worker. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I'm doing this because the car he drives, for obvious reasons, the one that it's smaller and it uses less gas, that's the one he normally drives to work. Today is his remote day, so I get to use the car and be a little bit more comfortable, less bouncy, and less gas. And because he spends so much time in here and I'm under the weather, he already spends enough time around me at home. I don't want to put all these germs in a very confined space. So hence the mask in my own vehicle. I want to try to protect him as much as I can because I don't need him or anybody else at my house sick, because I have chemotherapy if they don't cancel me because I'm sick next week. So, here we are. Part 4 of behaviors that don't get enough shame, don't get enough hate. Let's talk about people who can't admit when they're wrong. We're all guilty of this at some point in time, but I think being able to admit that we're guilty of this is puts us outside of this. The ones I'm talking about who are the ones who absolutely double down. I can think of a very famous example currently. Seems to be always wrong about everything, and unfortunately is in charge of a whole lot. Y'all know who I'm talking about. And those people that back this individual. Just by and large cannot admit that they're wrong. There's even some of this individual's biggest supporters that are coming out and saying, you know what, no, this behavior is wrong. And they still can't admit that the previous behaviors were wrong. They are still like, I love a lot of things that this person did, and blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. If you did, it was only for personal gain. It's what they did for you. And that is a whole nother episode. But yeah, people who cannot admit for the life of them that they are wrong. Just, life would be so much easier. Why do you have to do it in hard mode? Life is so much easier to just be like, you know what, I'm sorry. I did a bad, I said a bad, my opinion was wrong, whatever the case it may be. Just admit it and move forward. Done. Make amends for it. But be genuine. Don't just say that just to make whatever things easier. Like, only admit that you're wrong if you truly believe you're wrong. I believe that what we're seeing now is a bunch of individuals who have their identities tied so tightly into a particular identity. You know what I'm talking about. That they just cannot be like, you know what, I was wrong for that. My choices, my beliefs have ultimately caused a lot of pain and a lot of suffering, and I'm wrong for that. Now, the flip side of this is those of us, and I'm absolutely guilty of this, and I'm wrong for this. And I want you to understand that pains me to say that, because while I genuinely do feel like I'm wrong for that, I do believe that there are some people that just can't learn they can't learn that the stove is hot until they touch that stove. And if you need to get burned to learn the lesson, then you need to get burned to learn the lesson. That part I will stand on. I am not sorry for that at all. However, I have had my moments in frustration and in anger where somebody has genuinely said, you know what, I was wrong and I'm sorry. And I was like, F-A-F-O. Nope, you're not getting any forgiveness from me. And those of you who know me well know that forgiveness from me, it takes a lot. There are people that I will absolutely go to my grave not forgiving. That, and I know that there's going to be people in my comments or whatever that are going to be all like, oh, but it makes you feel so much better. No. Maybe it does you. No, there absolutely, in one in particular case I can think of, that no, it gives me the energy to get up in the morning to know that they will never receive my forgiveness. Matter of fact, now that I'm thinking about it, there's 3 individuals. Of all the people I've ever met, known, what have you, there's 3 that will never, ever, 4, just thought of one more, 4 that will never, ever receive my forgiveness. Because they don't deserve it. Anywho, I like to think that I can, in most cases, admit that when I'm wrong. And I, in a lot of cases, will absolutely forgive. I won't forget, but I'll forgive. And it is incredibly hard for me to do that. But I can, right? It's not that I lack the ability to do that. It's difficult. I feel like the other person needs to deserve it, and if I don't think they deserve it because maybe they haven't attempted to make things right, whatever the case may be, I find it hard to do that. But we need to, with all that said, I do think that there are definitely situations where we need to be like, okay, if you've genuinely learned your lesson, just like a parent would a child, if you've genuinely learned your lesson, then yes, you know what, I accept your apology, you're forgiven. I would probably never forget, because past behavior can signal future behavior, but I'm gonna accept you at your word, that you mean everything that you say, and that you are genuinely sorry for what you did, what you said, whatever the wrong here was. I think we do need that, at least that level of compassion for those that have done something wrong and have admitted as much. So that's my part 3, and I'm including myself on this. So y'all have a good day, have more compassion, have more love, and we'll see you on my next take.